and all those spam techniques, like they stopped working. Like just one day, like everything stops. I think that that will eventually happen again. I mean, it's kind of happening. Also, like I think we're currently like uh in content recession era. Like we were in content inflation last year, where everyone pushed for more, like generate. Now we are oversaturated, but we still have like the same number of, pair of eyeballs who are, you know to read the text, but there is so much more, slops and everything
Yeah,
answer
I
that.
think, I mean, on one side the algorithms are getting better, but also people are getting smarter and recognizing this, right? It's just much easier to spot AI text, and the problem is that
Yeah.
it's always that I mean, it feels fake. We are recording this in May 2026. Heyreach just crossed 14 million ARR, bootstrapped, adding over a million a month with one person running content SEO until February this year. Now you have also some help with you. But LinkedIn pulled their company last month, and the platform's cracking down on automation harder than ever. And yet, Bojana Vojnović grew their organic traffic from 4K to 36K in 9 months while building content systems that feed directly into outbound. Bojana, everyone says SEO is dying. You are proving the opposite. What is everyone getting wrong?
Yeah, I would say like there is multiple things that people are getting wrong about SEO and content. But first and the most important thing is that it's not a channel that's operating like in silos, like basically extracted from all other marketing channels. It's pretty connected and influenced by all activities like other departments or other people are doing. That's one thing. And the other thing is that SEO is, standing for search engine optimization. So the Google may have monopoly by now on search engines, but as long as search is existing in any form, in any platform, like we have now LLMs, but you also need to search through them. Like the way of
Yeah.
searching is different, but we are still searching for answers, searching for information. So you're optimizing to be visible. And when it comes to content, I would say the thing that most people get wrong is that the ultimate goal is to rank or to show somewhere, where the ultimate goal is actually to bring revenue to the company. I think that people who are in B2C get this far faster because their cycles are shorter. So they know that if they push a piece of content, it needs to bring sales immediately. While in B2B, it's a far longer cycle and we're part of the cycle. And we're not always influencing revenue one-on-one like in B2C, but we are influencing how we acquire customers. So if you're having like vision of how you actually influence your ICP, that and how you bring revenue, I think you will be forced to make different kind of decisions strategically and also tactically, in comparison to if your only goal is to rank somewhere. Then you will be like, oh yeah, like if I can't rank, if the number one ranking is not existing, if Google is pulling AI overviews or more ads or there are LLMs or whatever, like everything is dead and I shouldn't invest there, I shouldn't do it that channel or whatever. But in reality, like that's not the goal, or I think it never was, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's much more um, the nurturing cycle is much longer, right? When it comes to B2B, and you think in SEO and content in a different way. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, like when you are in B2B, like depending on who is your ICP, is it a small company, a startup, or an enterprise? It really depends, but you need to have like full business strategy and full marketing strategy before you open content and SEO as a channel. Because you need to understand like how are you positioning on the market. You need to understand how long are the cycles and where your ICP is struggling, so you can show up with your content and show them how to solve that struggle and how your product or service is positioning within that cycle. Also, like when you're in B2C, you're talking directly to the decision maker, and the decision maker who is often like acting on their emotional states, and they're just pulling the bank card, and that's it. Like they can make decision now for now if they will buy I don't know, a piece of jewelry or bag or whatever. But if you're in B2B, like the sales cycle, the buying cycle, whatever you want to call it, is far longer, and it's including multiple layers. So you need to be able to talk to person who will operate within your product or who will use your service. The same way you need to be able to talk to the decision maker who will say like, okay, this is a good investment for our department or not. And also to ultimate decision maker who is approving the cost or investment, however you want to call it. And you need to be able to actually close the whole cycle, because if you're talking only to operator, like there is a lot of chances that the other decision makers in the cycle won't understand like what's the deal. If you're talking only to CFO, he may or she may decide to invest, but then the operator or the head of the department or director will be like, yeah, but we have this stack, and like why we need something else inside of it.
Yeah, I find it very interesting how you're pointing out here the different stakeholders, the different people that are actually part of the decision-making process, and how you have to address them in different kind of ways in the content creation process. So tell me, I mean, there's quite a long journey that you went through with Heyreach, or I mean, not long in the way of that it took you long. It actually took you very very little time, but long in the time in the sense of that that it grew very massively, very fast, right? So tell me, what was when you started actually doing this? What was the way you set everything up? Because I guess you didn't write content like from the first day, right? Especially if you say like if you talk about all the complexities, all the different ICPs, the people that you have to address. What did you do before you started writing any content?
That's actually a great question, because you shouldn't start writing the first day like ever. That's why just hiring a
Oh,
writer
really?
won't do. Yeah.
Right away?
Or just going to Claude and or whatever
Yeah.
LLM you prefer, and just like write me a piece and make it good so it ranks everywhere. So people are doing with LLMs now what they tend to
Yeah.
do with writers for like ages now. So when I joined, like we were actually, it's super crazy because as you said, like we grow very, very fast. So when I start negotiating with Book, Heyreach, Book is our CMO. So Heyreach was on like 2 million ARR. It was around like November 2024. When I joined on February 25, it was already on 4 million. So it was already super fast. Mind you, it's just a year from there to now. When I joined, I was super lucky to already have information I need, which is super rare in startups, especially in that level of growth. So they already figure out who is their main ICP and who are like the second and the third priority. And they also started positioning with messaging and with the product, meaning the features, the stack, the integration stack, etc. Within the market. So they already knew what is their differentiator in comparison to competitors. Mind you, we have like really strong competitors in the niche. The niche is kind of oversaturated with the tools. They're more or less the same. So when I joined, like all of that was already like changed, and the traction really started growing rapidly. They've decided that we're going to make a perfect fit for agencies, and they pushed on every side. So the pricing, everything on website, everything how we messaged through LinkedIn. Like we already had like company page that had traction. We started doing LinkedIn content as well. Basically, like 9% from the company started posting like weekly
so
as
it was
well.
really like fully on the agency side. You were like focusing, right? Like from the beginning.
So, and that helped me to actually start creating content strategy, because as I said, I had business strategy, I had marketing strategy. So mine was to create content strategy. So I went through all that, basically information, and then I researched the competitors. I audited them all. I figured like where are they overlapping with content, because all of them had really strong DR, really hard to dethrone them from all the organic traffic they were getting, etc. But what I figured is that all of them are having great content, but they're mostly targeting top of the funnel, and they're targeting an average user of LinkedIn who is not necessarily also like a buyer of automation tool. So what I did is I said like, okay, we're not going to do top of the funnel like ever. That's the first thing. The second thing is like, we're going to focus on product-led content exclusively for a year. So nothing else, only product-led content. And I started with first ICP, and I started with their pain points, and I started producing content only for them for first 2 or 3 months. Then I incorporated content, same type of content for second ICP, and then for a third. During the process, I also figured that every ICP has a different level of adoption of tech stack. And they're also on different level of understanding how automation works, and how big or small or non-existing their animosity to automation is, and also how fast they can make a decision. So by the June, I figured like we need to have like, for every ICP, we need to have a different layers of content as well, in terms of how junior, media, or senior someone is in automation niche. So we did the redesign of blog as well at that point. And right now, if you go to our blog, you can see that it's segmented and it's on purpose. It's segmented for playbooks, for guides, for tech guides. And all of that is also segmented if you're a beginner in automation, if you're intermediate, or if you're a master. Also, like, you can see the segmentation that you can choose the content based of if you're an agency, if you're part of sales team, or you're part of GTM engineer pool. Because all of those segments of ICP are having different problems, different obstacles, different pain points, and they all kind of need our tool to make their work work, you know. So first thing, to answer your question more like narrowly, first thing I did is like I went through all information about company, about messaging, about a product, and then about competitors. I mixed all of that up, and then I made decision on a strategy level that we're kind of still sticking to this day. We later on invested to incorporate expert content as well. That's where like YouTube stepped in, and then like distribution and also the ecosystem that we're running. But that's another story.
I find it super interesting how you were able to get into a market which is actually saturated in a way, right? We had so many different LinkedIn automation tools, and I remember the times before Heyreach where I was using them as well, and then Heyreach came across, and I thought, okay, great, another player there, another one, another automation tool. But then I realized, oh, you really have a completely different target, a completely different kind of positioning, and then I really and you embraced the agency part of it, which was a super smart move, because this was the time also where when Clay became super big, where all these GTM agencies were posting on LinkedIn constantly, and you just jumped into this, right? So I think it's a very interesting strategic move, and there's a lot that somebody can learn from this. How you were able to go into this saturated market, carve out where our niche fits best in, and then create like really unique content that boosts this up, right? So great, kudos for this.
So kudos to the team. The biggest kudos to them and to co-founders who are actually the biggest drives for us, like the way they lead and the way they are passionate about this. It actually help us all like do our work and then like make a compound effect, because the way someone is running like ecosystem or product or sales or support is also affecting, like for example, like what kind of sentiment we're going to have in LLMs. It's not just if I'm going to write good content or not, to show up in LLMs or not. It's the whole brand positioning moment. So if someone is running support great and people are like talking online how great experience they had with our product and our people, like the sentiments in LLM will go up. So I would say like it's a holistic business thing.
Yeah, it's always a team effort, right? It's
Yeah.
the leadership, the vision, and the whole team that understands it and moves in one direction. Actually, there is something interesting in your background that I've seen. You know, when I was looking through your LinkedIn and
Yeah.
what you've done in the past, and so you have a degree in comparative literature, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that's really interesting. So many people that are in marketing, so I mean, either they haven't studied anything, or they have studied something completely different, or maybe marketing business related, right? But I've seen very rarely somebody that comes actually from the literature side and then goes to content. How do you think this shaped your perspective on creating content, knowing I assume knowing what good content means, like in the traditional sense, let's say, right? Did it shape your way of doing things, or would you say, okay, this was just a study and doesn't have anything to do with what I'm doing?
To be honest, I always say if I didn't study what I did study, I would never be such a good content marketer as I am, reading and reproducing. And that helped me a lot to whatever I'm going to new industry or whatever I need to deal with competitors, no matter if, the market is Europe or USA or LATAM or whatever, really, like I can, have different parts. I'm not just looking into, some acronyms that are like just marketing and business wise, but I'm also looking in into the culture. I'm also looking into, business culture, into how people make decisions, what influence them, etc., etc., etc. So I think all of that actually is helping me to make decisions that helps my team way more than if I didn't have participated in those studies.
Yeah, I guess it creates like a much more analytical kind of way of seeing things, right? Going deeper into the whys and the hows of what drives the decision, what drives the content, what are the stakeholders behind it, right? I mean, really interesting what you're saying with the history and the background that you had to look at in the studies and how this influences the way of thinking. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of content is very superficial often. I think especially like when it comes to the SEO side of things, people sometimes it's like, okay, we have to produce more and more and more and more, right? It's just a wheel machine where you all the time just produce and produce and produce these texts of these massive texts, and I guess often people like really forget. Well, at the other end, there's actually like a reader, and there's much more to it than that we have to look at actually when we want to produce actually good content.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the mass production is nothing new. It didn't came with LLMs. Like they just enhanced it. Recently, I had a call with a guy who was like, I fired my whole SEO team and I started just doing a agenting thing because people are just not, doing things anymore. And I'm like, okay, show me. Like what? Like show me what they did. And he showed me like they did nothing for a year. They just,
What do
you
you mean
know,
they didn't do anything for you?
like they produced zero value. Like they didn't move the traffic, they didn't move the pipeline, they didn't move anything for a year. And I was like, well, of course, like I would fire them as well, but much earlier. Like you can see after the 3 months if something is working or not. Like the
Yeah.
12 months timeline is a myth. Like, yeah, you can't have the same results after 3 months and after like 12 months, but you can see certain traction after 3 months already.
You have to see
Like,
something is moving at least, right? It's going in
yeah,
the
yeah,
right
yeah,
direction at least.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't do magic. No one can. But also, like, if you see a really, really, really high growth on really high traction, that's also the red sign as well, like red flag. Because if something is flying really fast, really high, it'll probably just like,
It's just a trick.
dump. Yeah, 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 yeah. So you need to be really strategic there, have a long-term vision, but also know what is pulling the trigger in a good or bad sense. And I maybe won't report on some metrics because, for example, I think it's more important to report how's our non-branded traffic doing, how's our click-through rate doing, etc. But I will definitely look at how long people are staying on the page, how long are they staying on the site, are they moving through the content, are they dropping fast, like are they visiting at all, like do we have just a false high traction because maybe just a bunch of bots are like making the traffic, and that's not valuable. Like I can report that the traffic is growing, but in the end it's not, you know I can't report that because it's not valuable, because it's not going to result in revenue in any moment later.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
definitely, like, you need to know your metrics of your channel, what you're looking into, but you also need to know the difference on what are you reporting to client or what are you reporting to your CMO or to whoever you're reporting, what is important for them.
Okay, great. So um, there is another topic that is which I think you can say something interesting about, which is inbound led outbound, right? So I think like it's a very modern way of looking at this, not to say outbound and inbound are two separate emotions, but it's like interconnected. And this is something that you are really living at Heyreach. Can you tell us a bit how you are doing this? How do you understand inbound and outbound?
Yes, definitely. Like as I mentioned earlier, like if you're working in silos and somehow like inbound and outbound are like kind of forcing you to, outbound is just like cold calling or cold emailing and cold everything. And then there is inbound and like we're either attracting or we're not attracting, and that's it. And in the
Yes.
middle of that, it's like inbound, outbound, where outbound is actually getting the signals from the inbound and then doing the outbound to people who already got familiar with the brand or like with the offering, but they didn't convert it in any sense, like not any interest, not any lead gen, not any free trial or anything. So what we did and what we are doing, we're basically focusing on getting the most out of what we are already creating. So
So is it so which part are you then mostly focusing on? Is it like signals from the website? Is it like on the on social media signals that you're looking at?
both.
What is it? Both. Okay.
Both,
Yeah.
both. So until recently, we were really hard on LinkedIn. So our company page and like 10 people, we started with nine, but it was eventually, I think, 13 people actually who posted regularly. Plus, we run like ecosystem where we have like ambassadors, experts, creators, etc., etc., which is creating the whole momentum on LinkedIn. And there is a lot of people who are engaging with those posts, etc., etc. So we had like the whole outbound motion that is picking the signals from the posts our employees are posting and then turning that in the whole like sequence and whole motion of like contacting those people who are interested. And then like there is a website, so we're using signals like who is visiting, like we have certain content pieces mapped out, we have certain pages mapped out, and we then run campaigns on people who visit them. So we use multiple tools that we are also integrated with, so you can use them as well to pick the signals, like Mindbound or our B2B. So it depends, like our B2B is more USA focused, Mindbound has the larger contacts. So if you're targeting also Europe, etc., maybe that's the better option. Then we pull people who are visiting, for example, pricing page. We get their business emails and like LinkedIn profiles, and then we push them in the campaign. If we don't have all the information, we will probably enrich it with Clay, and then we push it into sequence like Heyreach,
Into
where like
Heyreach, obviously,
yeah,
right?
of course.
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah.
like we have integrations with Instantly and Smartly, so you can use that as well. So there is
And on
basically
the
so many signals you can use.
now, when it comes to LinkedIn, I mean, obviously on LinkedIn, I mean, LinkedIn is your full focus with Heyreach, right? The platform is since 1-2 years right now cracking down more and more on different kind of tools, right? We have seen this with Apollo. This has been like a big case, right? And then at some point it also happened with Heyreach, which where the company page got banned. I've seen when I was looking at content and messages from some people at your company. I don't remember who it was exactly, but I saw some posts from the leadership that said we knew this would happen, we prepared for this, and this was clear for us, right? So tell me, what was the reaction in the office when it happened? Was this something like it was clear anyway? Were you surprised? What was the reaction there?
Uh, Well,
It was mixed for sure, yeah.
To be honest, we were we were prepared because we started preparing the moment we entered our roles from marketing side, from marketing perspective. It's something that we always had to have in mind, not in a way like, oh, if that happens, we're doomed, but what can we do to anticipate that, what from our side? That's one thing. And what can we do so when it happens, we do not lose our traction and we do not lose our visibility? Because like as you said, like it's something that already happened to few players.
Yeah, you were not the first one, for sure.
And like it's not, yeah. And if you're real with yourself and honest, like you won't be like, oh, it's not something that can happen to me. Like you just admit like it's something that can happen to you. So our CMO Vuk, he is a great mind, and he prepared us for that in terms of basically running all channels, like as I said, holistically, but also like run it in a way that if something happens to other channel, like you can cover a bit or you can like bloom out of it. And that helped us a lot. And as well, like Christina, who is running our socials and also community, she ran the page and she was in charge of PR crisis communication, and she handled it beautifully. She prepared like everything for us in like this, like in less than an hour, and we jumped straight on it, like to support our community, because what we saw with our not only competitors but other brands from the field, because Apollo is not a direct competitor, and yet like they also like lost their page and got it back. What we saw is that the fear starts crawling in, because like the pages or the profiles or both, they just disappear and nothing happens, and everyone is like, oh, is it infecting product
actually,
or whatever? So
this is what I was thinking, because I mean, at the end of the day, yes, fine, they take the page off, and but then what? I mean, so what? They don't. I mean, your product is still there, right? Everybody's using it. You still can do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, did it have any
Yeah.
impact at all, actually, like from that perspective? Yeah.
Negative, no. Positive.
Positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like more people know about.
It's weird.
Yes.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it created a compound effect, because we were prepared. We didn't play the ego game. So we were also super lucky, because it happened in a moment where we built all our marketing channels, we built the brand, and we built the whole community ecosystem with creators, experts, etc. So once we started communicating, like we communicated right away on every post that went out that we're stable, we're good, like it didn't affect the product, it just like they just deleted the company page. We communicated right away inside of the product, we sent a newsletter, we communicated in our communities, etc. So to be honest, we didn't have the time to react with like, oh my God, like I'm such a victim or something like that. Like,
Yeah, it's part of
we
business.
were just like,
yeah.
Executing, and yeah. And I think that's the best way to prepare. Like, start investing in brands and in marketing channels as early as possible, and have it like really polished, but not in a formalistic way, but in way of results, and gain authority and trust from your customers. That's where all departments are playing
yeah,
the
for sure
role.
and I think at the end it just gave you more visibility, right? It just made it even more aware about Heyreach, that you exist.
I mean, it depends. Like if you were a spammer before automation, you will be a spammer with automation. If you are mindful about like who you reach out, how do you reach out, and what do you want from that person, like automation just helps you,
To
you
be more
know,
efficient. Yeah,
delegate the dull tasks. Yeah, delegate the dull tasks. So it really, for example, like I'm doing, because I'm content and SEO person, I'm not doing like sales sequences, but I'm doing SEO sequences, which means like I'm using Heyreach to acquire expert quotes, backlinks, or like mentions or whatever. Like it depends. And like I use it as same as I used like the email and manual reaching out on email or manually reaching out on LinkedIn. It just like I don't have to do it every day. I just dedicate 2 or 3 days per month or per quarter, depends on how big campaign I'm running. I dedicate, from 1 to 3 days. I set all the parameters. I filter, like I make a good like lead list, enrich it with clay, everything. But if your strategy is to just have like generic message and to spray and pray in terms of reaching out or connecting or whatever, like you're already doing that manually, so you're already a spammer manually. So for you, maybe like LinkedIn automation or any automation is not the real deal, because you're just gonna scale your spamming tactics. So basically like tools just help you scale what you
exactly.
already have.
It just so let's talk about Claude. Let's talk about
Yeah.
Claude. Everybody's talking about Claude, so we also have to talk about Claude. Um, Heyreach was the first LinkedIn automation tool to ship an MCP server, right? So what can Claude actually do when it comes to outreach and Heyreach and LinkedIn automation specifically here?
Well, it can help you with a lot of things. It depends if you're using Claude on its own, or you're using other tools we're integrating as well that also have MCP. So there is a wide range of use cases. For example, like if you're just using Claude and Heyreach, you can clean the lead list, push them from Claude to Heyreach. You can pull the numbers from all campaigns you're running for Claude to analyze what is the most performing, why. Also, like with sentiment analysis that we launched like 2 weeks before, you can also understand like how people answer to your messages. Like, is the sentiment positive, negative, or now neutral? How you can improve your campaigns, etc., etc. And you can manage like all those things from Claude. For messages, you still need to enter the Heyreach and go straight to Unibox and answer everything from there. But you can craft things inside
Yeah.
the Claude.
Yeah, especially the analysis part. I think this is super interesting. Like I'm doing this always right now with the campaigns, where I look which campaigns, because the thing is, like, if you just look at the dashboards, you see, okay, what is the acceptance rate, what is the reply rate, and you think, okay, great. And now what? Right? I mean, you have to think about, okay, which campaigns work well, which not. But it's sometimes you don't get the background, you don't get the context. But if I can now download all the ICPs, all the people that I have been targeting, I can download exactly who answered, how do they answer, and why did they answer, and then I connect the dots. Then Claude is able to see a much better picture, and then I can make my campaigns much better, because I know, okay, this ICP really works well with this kind of message with this kind of time, etc., etc., which I might miss if I don't have this direct analytics.
Exactly. Yeah, and if you have a separate project for every ICP, where you can store those chat analysis specifically, and where you can feed it with docs around your ICP and turn on like the chat memory, and also like during the time like make instructions out of it and maybe some like few skills, you can make some really 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 high level magic. I'm super hard on projects and instructions and skills and chat memory, because like pulling data from products like where the Claude is connected is great. Like in one session, like it hits your
With
dopamine
all the
so
information and
much,
all the
and
data,
you
it's like,
get
oh
super
my god, I know
excited.
so much stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Wow. I would usually need like a
Yeah.
month or two for this and everything. And then like it stops, and then you reiterate that like in chat sessions like every day, and eventually you get overwhelmed. But if you get strategic with that, so for example you have a project that's focused on one ICP and on one part of the funnel for ICP, and then you can analyze like campaigns from Heyreach you do strictly for them. You can have few docs around it. You can pull also from Fathom like calls with exactly that kind of ICP from sales, from support, and from success, and figure like how that ICP is moving through the funnel, and how they're, for example, how their approach is changing, how their vocabulary is maybe changing, or how their tech stack is changing, how things are changing when someone from other teams from the same company joins, etc. Like what are the pain points now? What are they trying to solve now? You can do so much more than if you do those things like
Yeah.
separately. Because especially if you turn on the memory, uh, the Claude is learning on its way. And of course, like if you have like the team Claude, like where the whole company is on Claude and you have like cross projects, Claude is
Yeah.
also learning better than if every and each of you has like a pro that is totally separated.
I mean the whole thing about skills and memory MDs and soul MD right now here. I mean this is also like a topic that everybody's talking about right now, and it's I mean this harness, right? I mean some people call it the harness that you create there on Claude. And we at Kinetyca, we also use it quite a lot. We call it's like the agency operating system in a way, like the brain that we have behind, where we have all the data about us, about how we handle projects, how we do campaigns, how we do certain strategies, and then we onboard every client on this and have this background information, and then also we are able to track everything that is happening on a specific client and feedback this information back into this, right? So we have like this main brain and then little brains, you could say, like for every client that we work with, and it's I mean it's just incredible what you can do with this. But I think at the same time there's a lot of buzz around this, and I think like many of these posts and things that you see out there is just people say, oh, I'm just replacing my whole marketing team now with all these different bots, and that's it, right? Always when I look under the hood of these things there and look deeper into this, it's actually, I mean, it's not that crazy or special as it proclaims to be, right? And so yes, you can do a lot with it for sure, but I think there's also a little bit of misconception sometimes from people that are posting about that. I don't know. What's your take?
Well, my take is that tools are tools, humans are
Very good.
humans. So I always use the analogy from other industries. For example, if you need to go out on a field, you won't like dig something out manually, and you won't pick the I don't know, the corn or something manually anymore. Like you have machines for that. But you still need people to operate those machines, and you still need people to go after those machines to pick things up because machine didn't do like it 100%, to make some adjustments. You still need people to take care of those machines so they last longer. You still need people to organize all of that. You still need people to plan all of that. Like, you can't just buy a harvest machine and say like, do everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's spring,
You have
start working and give me food by the
yes,
September.
I mean you have to bring it to your context. And one thing that I've seen like in another podcast is when somebody was talking about the skill files. I mean, it's very typical right now to share these skill files, but the problem is that these skills, they don't understand your context. They don't understand how you operate, how you think.
Yeah.
And so actually you should actually build them on your own, right? And just getting them, buying them.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
It's better from my standpoint. I totally agree with you. It's better if you interact with Claude for 2 or 3 or 5 months and then say like, okay, from everything we did, let's make a skill. Than to, for example, I can be sure 100% that your skills documents are great. But if I take your skill documents from your agency and I pull it in my Claude that is in-house, that is running on in-house context, I won't have the same quality results that you have, and vice versa. If you get my skills and push it in your system,
The context matters.
it won't be the same, because no matter how like aligned we are on certain levels, we don't have the same context. And you also need to switch context, for example, because you're in agency, you also need to switch context per client.
Yes.
Not a lot, but you need, because they have at least one friction can be added, and when it's added, like, it changed a direction.
So let's talk about the composable GTM stack. There are two ways of thinking about this, right? There are, on the one side, people that want to have tools that just do everything, the whole. Everything basically, like from finding the leads, from sequencing, from CRM database, etc., etc., etc. And then on the other side, you have tools which say they want to be part of a full stack, where they try to be like the so-called best of breed. And obviously Heyreach is there, right? I mean, that's you want to be like the best LinkedIn sequencer there, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're right now on the way to say, no, we want to have a CRM as well. We will start to do email. We will start to... Is it like that, or?
No, we're hard
Best of breed.
on one philosophy. Yeah, best of breeds. So that's something like our CEO came with, like, early stage of the company, and that is that we're going to adapt to you and your stack. You don't have to adapt to us. So what Heyreach aims for is that you don't have to have a high learning curve and to, change the whole way your department is operating. We're just plugging in. So we're the best for LinkedIn automation, and we're just going to plug into whatever you're already using. And we're not going to create clutter. We're going to create value, and you won't even have a feeling that you had any new thing pushing you to change how you operate. Because if we're honest and we go back to psychology and how our brains are wired, like, our brains are naturally afraid of new. It doesn't matter if the new is good or bad, it's new, and our brains are automatically pushing back. So we want to have at least friction as possible there, and to have people use us within what they're already using. That's why we're much harder on integration stacks. And if you go to our integration page, you will see that we're integrating with best of the breeds. The best brands from a certain part of industry for certain context. And you will always have like the best product from us for LinkedIn sequencing. and then like you pair us with your stack, and that's it. Like we
Just
plug
connect
and
the
play.
dots here. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this fits very much to our philosophy as well. Like we think also best of breed is the best approach. Like always the thing is like when tools, and sometimes they do this, right? Like when they become bigger, they add this functionality, this and this and this and this and this. But the problem is that they always then become worse at the core functionality, which in your case is like the sequencing part, like being extremely good, being the sequencer. And yeah, I think that's just the way that makes more sense. It makes sometimes more complicated, but at the end of the day, the problem is if you have tools which do everything at once, then yeah, you get
They stop working. They
yeah.
stop working. I'm definitely for like end-to-end solutions, but it doesn't have to be one tool. Like I can make a wrapper, like that's what I'm doing lately. So with Claude, I'm wrapping all the
Mm-hmm.
tools I'm using because I use those tools because they're good for what I need. I don't need them to be the whole wrapper. Like I can
Yeah,
create that
this has
myself. Like
changed these
we've
days.
been doing
Yeah.
that manually or with Excel tables. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody just tries to go into this and more agentic, without seeing if this is actually what is needed. But this brings me to the last question. What is your prediction for where things are heading in the content and SEO game when we look at the end of 2026 or even beyond?
I think when it comes to content and SEO, we're kind of or in second
The
penguin
second,
era.
what is this? The second penguin
So,
area.
you know that earlier in the times, like there was like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
spamming techniques and the keyword stuffing, and then like put all the keywords on the page and then put it in
Yeah.
white, and so the user can't see it but the crawler can, and etc. Like those are back, kind of like like geotactics. And then the core update came that made the crawler smarter, and the way that Google algorithm is
Perceiving. Ah, yeah.
processing information, became smarter and everything. And all those spam techniques, like they stopped working. Like just one day, like everything stops. I think that will eventually happen again. I mean, it's kind of happening. Also, like I think we're currently like uh in content recession era. Like we were in content inflation last year, where everyone pushed for more, like generate. Now we are oversaturated, but we still have like the same number of pair of eyeballs who are you know to read the text, but there is so much more slops and everything
Yeah,
after
I
that.
think, I mean, on one side, the algorithms are getting better, but also people are getting smarter and recognizing this, right? It's just much easier to spot AI text. And the problem is that
Yeah.
it's always that I mean, it feels fake, right?
But that will pass as well. We just need to keep our course and to remember why we are here. We are here to bring value to our ICPs. We're here to bring values to our customers, to help them solve their pains. That's the primary thing. The secondary thing is to bring revenue to the businesses we're in. So basically, turn our salaries, commissions, or whatever. And like ranking is a tool.
Yeah,
Ranking is not the
exactly.
purpose.
But history is repeating itself, and we are going to these circles. Yeah, very nice statement here for the end. Bojana,
Thank
thanks a
you.
lot. This was a lot of really good insights when it comes to content SEO and AI, Claude, and all the topics we discussed. Yeah, and for the listeners out there, thank you very much for listening to us, for tuning in, and see you next time.